As the scene fades in, you see Angel wake up suddenly, a startled expression on her face as she quickly looks around. She began to gently paw at John, who was still asleep. He stirred and pushed himself into a sitting position. What? Angel quickly followed, and she was on her paws looking around. It may have been a dream, she mumbled, noticing that at least the rain had stopped, and the sun was about to come up. At least it's daytime, she said, taking in a deep breath, but only scenting the foul, sour scents that lingered. Angel leaped up onto the box to get a better look around as John stretched for one last time and made his way out of their makeshift den. He stopped mid-sentence as he spotted a bit of black stuff dripping from the nearest branch that certainly hadn't been there before. He gulped slightly and shook his head. Yeah. After a few moments of small talk, John began to leave the area. Let's keep moving. I don't like this place either. Angel nodded and quickly bounded after him. Even though there was no great monsters of the road, they still made sure to avoid it as much as possible. They only stopped once to get some water. Even if there wasn't any prey around, the least they could do was make sure they were hydrated. John, however, side-eyed the water and carefully took a drink. I sure hope this is safe, he grumbled. Angel quickly pulled her head out of the water before shaking it. It seems good to me, she said, as a few water droplets landed on John's face. He couldn't help but let out a chuckle. At least it doesn't have any of that black stuff in it. Probably not, at least. Angel's face turned from a playful one to quickly a worried one. She had forgotten about the black stuff, and her tongue was beginning to tingle a little, but surely it would be okay. Yeah, she said as they both quickly walked away. Thankfully, it didn't take long for them to find a path that went underneath the road. John, frowning, let out a, "Well, this is foreboding." Angel, looking back and nodding, "I wonder what made this." Her expression slowly turned into a worried one as she thought about all of the possibilities, but John quickly caught up and gently nuzzled her shoulder. "Hopefully we don't have to find out," he said before running ahead. A smile slowly creeping on her face as she responds, "Yeah." In front of them was a large row of bushes, but thankfully, Angel managed to find a small opening for them to crawl through. As she poked her head out the other side, she realized what was in front of them and waited for John to catch up and take a look himself. Another clearing. Let's keep low this time. That thing might be around again. After a few moments of sneaking, Angel finally got up to her paws. Still so quiet, she whispered. John also stood to his paws and walked over to her. Indeed. The two cats carefully walked around the large rock structure, not wanting to accidentally miss anything, just as a familiar, sour odor began to fill their nose. John quickly dropped into a crouch. "There," he whispered, his voice low and tense. "Follow." Angel's eyes widened, but she nodded like usual and followed after him. As they got closer, Angel couldn't help but let out a small, panicked, What? Is that a kit?" John still looked tense as ever. I think so. Maybe I can grab it if I get close enough. Okay, just don't get hit. I'm right behind you, she whispered. Whatever it is, there's clearly something wrong with it. The two began to creep closer and closer, the creature not seeming to move at all or even notice their existence. Upon further inspection, you can see that it is in fact a black slimy creature that leaves a trail of black goo wherever it goes. Its eyes are somehow faded but bright, as if maybe something used to be there. John crept as close as he was willing to go before leaping at the creature, intending to knock it to the ground. He managed to land perfectly on top of the creature, not hurting it, but only pinning it to the ground, wrapping his arms around it. Got it! He shouted back to Angel, doing his best to hold on, but the creature easily able to wriggle out of his paws. However, his hold only lasted for so long as the slimy creature slipped from his paws one final time and darted off. John quickly wasting no time in running after it, Angel quickly getting to her paws and darting after him. Catch it! He yelled as they both began to dart after the lightning-fast creature. They watched as it ran across the road. They hadn't seen anything dangerous, but still hesitantly looked before chasing after it. Angel had already lost sight of it, but John seemed to be able to keep up with the scent, thankfully. Not too long after, they were led to the opening of a cave on the edge of a mountain. Angel let out a hesitant, "Did it?" John nodding, "It went in there." They both looked hesitantly into the dark cave, John finally speaking up. "Not so sure how I feel about going in a dark cave, but we have had to have done this stuff like this before, right? The weird cat wouldn't have trusted us with this if we couldn't do it, hopefully." Angel quickly swallowed her worries. "I'm right behind you, John," she purred as they both slowly crept into the darkness of the cave. Angel unfortunately led them into a few dead ends, but at least they managed to pick up on the scent of the goop. After what seemed like forever in the dark tunnels, they finally saw a light. "Whoa, do you see that light too?" John instinctively got lower. "Stay close." They worked together and managed to make it up the steep slope, closer and closer to the light. What is it?" Angel whispered. John paused as the light grew stronger, only glancing back at Angel. "I don't like this," he said, but instinctively continued to walk, almost as if it was drawing him closer. As they entered into the room, they noticed a large crystal structure, but that wasn't all they noticed. "John, wait," she said, trying to stop him, but he was already going forward, seeming to have also seen what she saw. "A cat," he muttered, as he saw the form curled up beside the stone. As they approach, the disheveled cat shifts at the sound of John's voice. "Hello?" he tentatively calls out. The cat slowly turns around. "Hello," it lets out, as if each breath is a struggle. As the cat takes a step forward, they take a step back. John flinched slightly, seeing that the cat was partially covered in the black stuff, which seemed to writhe similarly. "Who are you?" The wheezing cat waited a few moments, thinking about what to say before stretching. "It is strange and wonderful to see other beings in this land." "That is no matter, though," he gasped. "But I'm glad you're here." Angel at this point was completely terrified. John, on the other hand, just huffed and begrudgingly sat down. "Tell us what's going on. We don't have time for pleasantries," he hissed. Angel dropped into a defensive crouch, just in case. But the new cat didn't seem to mind, simply spoke again. "You two look like you have plenty of time. There's no speck of darkness on you that I can see," he mumbled. "I bet you're here for a reason, in fact." John looked over the creature before speaking. "Yeah, but it's only going to be that way for so long, so get talking. What's happening here, and how do we stop it?" "Long ago, hundreds of cats roamed this area. We all prospered, aside from a strange sickness that came about every few generations. It's what I'm unfortunately suffering from now, in fact." John listened impatiently, tapping a paw against the stone as if to hurry the cat along. Angel couldn't help but gently put a paw on his, just to tell him that she was there for him and that it would be okay. However, her eyes never left the strange cat that continued to try to catch its breath to continue its story. "Our pelts would grow all dark and dull, and darkness crept upon us, but for centuries we fought it off somehow. I never learned much about the strange rituals we'd use, but the ghost seers, they knew the way. Last time, we were not so lucky. I watched everyone I love succumb to this darkness. I'm the only one I know to be left. It takes over, and they shatter." John simply continued to nod, suspecting that most of the tale was nonsense, but listening regardless. "How do we stop it?" he yowled. Angel flinched a little at John's harsh tone. She didn't expect him to be so aggressive, as the feeble cat responded. "If I knew you wouldn't be here," the cat retorted calmly. "There was legends of a cure, however, but I'm not even sure if they exist." The cat was now slightly trembling as they spoke next. "Branches in the shape of antlers." They paused with one final shudder falling to their side. It was then, after their eyes closed, that the slime around them began to multiply, covering more and more of their body. Angel let out a fearful gasp, but too scared to even take a step closer. John instinctively took a step in front of Angel as the creature attempted to move, only to be held down by the weight of the ooze. "We're running out of time." John watched as the cat attempted to get up, but stumbled. He flinched as the dark substance suddenly surged again, covering more of their form. He quickly looked back at Angel, as if to say, "Get ready to run." The next sound that echoed throughout the cave was the cat trying desperately to breathe. "Help me. The black goo, it's taking over." John was solely focused on the answer to solve all of this, turning towards the cat. "Where do we find the cure?" he questioned, his tone frantic. The cat writhed in discomfort as their breathing was labored. They seemed to be trying to respond, but unable to. After a few moments, Angel tapped on John. "The antlers?" "Please, John, we have to try," she begged, taking a few steps closer to the cat. She didn't want them to die if they could save him. "An old place." The cat tried to say more, but coughs began to take over as the goop pulsed and grew around them. John immediately backed away as the coughing started and began to flinch as it only grew louder and echoed off the walls. "Angel, let's go, now." Angel hesitated for a moment before turning to follow John as they both ran out of the tunnel as the scene fades to black.